back to another episode of 393 Legacy, a Gorilla podcast. Boy, we're back inside after some of the distraction last week. We gave you a little bit of a brief outside podcast. We come back in and sit on the couch today, and so we're going to visit with another amazing senior, McKenzie here in a minute, and we'll visit with her about all things happening during her time here. But a preview, yes, it is the week before spring break next week, and so all sorts of excitement, but most importantly, a lot of things happening next week. So it starts on Monday. You've got all sorts of things you can be a part of. Recreation meeting at 6 o'clock. Board of Education meeting at 7 o'clock. But for those that are signed up for driver's ed, a mandatory meeting, 6:30 in the Commons. You'll meet with your driver's ed instructor and talk about all those requirements, but it is mandatory. You have to be there in order to take the class. So do not miss that. As well, junior high track begins. Oh my goodness, we're already there. Junior high track. Then on Tuesday, our junior high heads up to Wakefield for the music festival up there. On Wednesday, our high school golf begins. And then on Thursday, we have high school tryouts. And so all sorts of things happening. And so 5 days of school next week, that'll be an adjustment, but that's okay because then there's spring break the following week. And we hope for great weather during spring break for everybody and all their wonderful plans that you may have. So with all that said, welcome to the couch. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, so tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and about your family.
Okay. So I've been going to Solomon since I've been in 4th grade, and I've now done since middle school plenty of activities, even like football, wrestling, track, and involved in clubs like FFA, Stuco.
Yeah.
I have 2 other siblings that also go to school here in Solomon. My parents have been big supporters in my sports here at Solomon.
Sure. So you've mentioned a lot of things that you've tried through the time. And so let's go back a ways in time a little bit, because you brought up one that most people aren't daring enough to bring up and try. And that's awesome that you tried football. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Peyton originally did it in 7th grade, and everybody was like kind of like peer pressure telling me to do it. And so I did 8th grade, and I did enjoy it. So I continued on to freshman year, and then I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't for me in high school. So I stopped. Sure.
Yeah. But you had that experience. It's one of those things. Why not try it?
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime moment. And then you talked a little bit more about your sports off air and, back-to-back state qualifier for wrestling. Talk about just the startup of the wrestling program, which is great because it came from you guys that wanted to start it. I remember a couple of you talking about it, and some others who have already graduated, who was in my office, I think, all the time saying we need to get wrestling. But just talk about wrestling in general, what it's done for you, and then what the experience is like out at Hayes, because I experienced it last year, the first time, and wow, what an amazing experience.
Yeah. So the startup of wrestling here has been a really great thing, I think, because it's been so much growth of a new sport, especially for me. Like, I didn't do very good my first year, but then it was so much growth the next year as state qualifier, winning more matches. And then I won even more matches this year and another like state qualifying. And Hayes is such a great experience. Like, it's such a large tournament. You see so many teams from all across Kansas.
And I'm laughing because if you haven't been to Hayes, just a quick description of it. So basically there's an upstairs to the arena, and then down below are all the wrestlers. And I don't know, what are there, 8 mats, 6 mats, six mats. Yeah. And there are people screaming and hollering, and the whole upper deck is packed. And it is just,
the bottom deck around mats is full. Yeah.
And there's an indoor track that goes around those 6 mats, and it is just a cool experience. And it's something that everybody needs to at least see one time, because it's 3-2, 1A all together, all in Gross Memorial Coliseum. So it's pretty cool. Anything else from wrestling? Good takeaways? Any funny stories? What's your best match? Whatever you want to share.
I think wrestling, like the aspect of family with the team, was such a great thing. Like, it was none like any other sport. And the best match I ever had was winning the first match I ever won at Russell. Like, that was such a great thing, I think, spiritually.
You're like, okay, all of the work that I put in is just paid off today.
Yeah.
Right. That's, we hear the same thing about cross country. And I think it also has to do, and this isn't a diss on anything. It is the fact that when there's less numbers, there's more of a family atmosphere. Same thing with cross country. They're out there, they're running every single day. They're all going. There's not a whole bunch of them. There's not 35 of them or 55 like we have in junior high track.
Yeah.
There's a smaller number, so it's close knit, and you really develop the relationship with each other on the team, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And with the coaches too, of course. Leads to the next thing. So not just coaching and not just wrestling, but we had to definitely start the podcast off with that. But there are teachers and coaches and people who have helped you since fourth grade and even before then. Yeah. So wherever you attended before too, talk about a couple teachers and staff members that have been influential to you.
So I'll definitely say Miss Hauser, because my first year like my first teacher, like not knowing anybody, and I was a super quiet kid, like she definitely started that experience of me talking to more people and like just opening up a little bit more. And then definitely like Mr. Norgren and Mr. Underwood, both like really great teachers for helping me be like a good student in the way I learn.
For sure. I go back to, you mentioned the two that are still here and do a tremendous job day to day, of course. Miss Hauser, the thing I remember so much about her room was the different colors, and she had the lights, and it was just such a welcoming environment when you walked into her classroom. So I could see that. And that was your first year here? So, I mean, what a great way to welcome you into the school, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. How many days of school left for you?
I don't know.
Okay, so Kai's the only one that did it. So that's good. That's good. I like that. We're not just continuing the countdown. But as you start to get ready for that moment in time to walk across stage, are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you anxious? Where are we at?
I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And then where's that going to lead, that excitement? What are we going to do next year?
I'm going to Newman University in Wichita to get my bachelor's degree in sports media and promotion.
I like it. Which leads to my next question. You knew it was coming. So how did you come to that? And then what are maybe some experiences that you're gaining right now?
So what led me to want to do the sports media program was taking a yearbook class last year and then taking the photos at games. I just found kind of a passion for that, I guess. And then with my internship now with the Chamber of Commerce, I just really diving deeper into those things that I really enjoy, all of them. And I think that program specifically at Newman, I will really enjoy. Sure.
So I want to go back to the internship. So I know where you're doing your internship at. And you said the Chamber of Commerce. So the Chamber of Commerce where? And then tell the listeners a little bit about what activities you're doing. And then how do you know it's been a good experience? You might talk about your reflection piece a little bit.
So specifically, it's Visit Salina. That's the part I'm working in with the chamber. And I do a variety of activities. I've gone out and taken photos with their photographer, Drew. And just yesterday, I sat with their digital creator, Olivia, and watched her do some stuff online. And then I've also just gone through their drive to help filter through photos and help just stuff with their online creation and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of every week, you have to do a reflection. So some people dread the reflection about the week of what they've done. How about you? How do you like that reflection piece?
I will say it allows me to reflect on what I've done for the week, and it's very fulfilling to see what I can get out of my internship and what I have been doing. So I think it's a really good thing.
So, I'm very blessed because I get the opportunity to hear about these stories from obviously my wife who teaches the class. But the most important thing that I love is to hear about all those wonderful things that you guys are doing. And that's the reason why I think I'm so glad you shared with the listeners out there. It's an amazing opportunity. Yours is one that really sticks out to me, and just listening about it from her perspective and just the things that she says, and all of them are getting it, but yours, I can visualize it so much. And because then not only are you doing that, but you're doing things that you're going to do once you get the degree from Newman, and then you go into it. Yeah, it may not be with the Chamber of Commerce, but it's going to be within the sports world, but you're getting your hands on the things that you actually do.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Are you in your book this year?
No, I wasn't able to put it
in the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm definitely glad that you got a chance to get this internship and do some of those things. You talked about wrestling. You talked about, your future plans for next year. Any funny memories or memorable moments besides the wrestling one that you've talked about, of course? Any others?
I would just say my most memorable moment is probably my time with the wrestling team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So glad we had that opportunity to start it because it has impacted. It doesn't matter whether it's 5 or 55. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a moment in time for sure for you. So let's talk last thing before we wrap it up. And you're starting to hear the elementary gym a little bit more in the background. But we always talk about, you talked about your brother and sister, right? Getting ready to start all over again. What advice would you have for yourself as a freshman again, or for them as they go through high school?
So I would say, be focused, in doing all your work, and because it's really not that hard if you just do that, to keep a straight A's, and then be involved in everything at school, but be less involved outside of school because that can get you a lot more trouble.
Yeah, there you go. In kindergarten, we call that make green choices, not red choices, right?
Yeah.
See, whatever you learn in kindergarten continues throughout, but very wise. Become involved, become active. And you've brought up wrestling a lot, but you see it a lot of other things too. You know what I mean? Your experiences in trying it in junior high and high school football, and just very well-rounded. And I'm so excited about your plan when you leave here and walk across stage and the pride that you'll have. And when you go down to Newman and be successful. And then of course your internship. Excited for you and your future. You're going to do amazing things. Well, thanks for sitting on the couch today. It's getting quieter in the gym now. That means we're wrapping up, I guess. It is going to be a great week next week, just like it is every single week here at Solomon, but probably a little bit more because it's the week before spring break for some of them. So we'll have one more person, though. Don't worry. We're going to have another person on the couch with us next week, talk about their amazing work here at Solomon. But until then, you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you right back here on the 393 Legacy, a Gorilla podcast.